A few weeks ago, Amazon came out with a brand new Kindle Colorsoft. Now, normally I would buy every new Kindle that comes out and review it, but I will not be doing that for this one because it's not really new. I think Amazon is simply covering up all the mistakes they made last year. In today's video, I'll be taking you through the wild ride that Amazon has been on ever since they came out with their first color Kindle last year. Even if you have a remote interest in book tech, I think you'll enjoy this story. Let's dive in. Last year, Amazon held a huge press conference in New York City where they invited people like me and other journalists and creators to cover all the new Kindles coming out, one of which was the first ever color e-ink Kindle. Now, Amazon definitely wasn't one of the first people to come out with a color e-reader. In fact, I'd argue they're one of the last people to come out with them. Companies like Kobo and Onyx Books already had very popular color e-ink devices, so that actually put a lot of extra pressure on Amazon to do very well with the Kindle Colorsoft. Now, at the launch event, I distinctly remember Amazon advertising this Kindle Colorsoft as a device without any compromises. They made it sound as good as the black and white Kindles with the added ability to see color for things like comic books and graphic novels. Now, when I heard this, I was very skeptical. Color e-ink as of right now still has quite a few drawbacks. For example, the display is much darker, the text is not as crispy, so there's no way in my mind that Amazon was able to solve all this with their Kindle Colorsoft, but to their credit, they did a pretty good job. In my opinion, I think Amazon has done the best job integrating a color e-ink display onto an e-reader. The settings are very seamless, the display colors look very nice, there's no lag that really makes a big difference in day-to-day use. Even though it's not as high quality as a black and white e-reader or a black and white Kindle, they did a really good job, and I want to make sure credit is given where it's due. Now, unfortunately, all of this was overshadowed right away when the device actually came out for public launch. There were some very big issues and Amazon made some mistakes. When customers began getting their hands on the new Kindle Colorsoft, people started putting in reviews right away. Now, normally reviews on Amazon for Kindles are very, very good. People love their Kindles, but the Colorsoft was the exception. This device was not getting the same reviews as all the other Kindles. People were complaining about all the issues I already mentioned. The screen was a bit darker, the text was not as crispy, but as the days went on, something much more pressing became very apparent. There was a bigger issue being experienced. It seemed like the majority of people who were buying a Kindle Colorsoft were experiencing this orange band of light come up on the bottom of their display. Some people had it really bad, others not so much, but the point is there was a display quality issue for almost every Colorsoft that was being sent to customers. This issue went absolutely viral. People were posting threads on Reddit, people were complaining, people were posting pictures of their screen and realizing how different it looks from other people's pictures. This instantly became a big problem for the Kindle Colorsoft. Now, needless to say, this is a big problem for Amazon. Their brand new sparkling Kindle that just came out is now getting a ton of negative reviews. They had to do something about this. Eventually, Amazon did acknowledge the issue and post a bit of a blurb on the product page saying there's an issue happening and they're working on it and a software update would be coming out soon to fix it. However, in reality though, if you tried buying a Kindle Colorsoft at that time, they were not available anymore. They were back ordered for weeks and weeks and months. This leads me to believe that Amazon completely stopped shipping them because of a hardware issue. A software update was eventually released, which apparently did help some people. I'm not too sure what they did behind the scenes, but they also offered free replacements to anyone who bought a Colorsoft and had this issue. So they were offering both a software fix and a hardware fix at the same time. At this point, though, the damage has already been done. Months have gone by, the negative reviews have completely piled up, and I would not be surprised if Amazon lost a lot of money because of this. Now, before telling you about the cover up that Amazon did to make this all go away, I do want to just do a quick mention for my book club. If you do enjoy reading on your Kindle and you like reading nonfiction books, I want to invite you to my book club called Presently Reading. Our community of 2,000 plus bookworms from around the world just love reading nonfiction books. Every single month, I pick a new book, and then every week on Saturday, I send out a little weekly lesson that I learned, along with a discussion question for all of us to reflect on. It's been a great way to meet like-minded bookworms and have some extra accountability to read one book every month. If this sounds interesting to you, link down below with all the details. Alright, all of this brings us to today. Almost a full year later now, Amazon is relaunching the Kindle Colorsoft. You see, when Amazon first came out with the Kindle Colorsoft, it wasn't just a regular Kindle. It was a signature edition Kindle Colorsoft. This means it was one of the more premium ones you can buy. When you buy a signature edition Kindle, you have a few extra features. For example, you'll have extra storage, you'll have wireless charging, and you'll also have an ambient light sensor that'll automatically adjust the brightness of the screen. At the time, I actually remember thinking to myself that it was strange that Amazon was releasing a signature edition model, but not a regular model at a more affordable price point. But now it makes a lot more sense. They were holding back on that so they could bump sales again almost a year later. The Colorsoft that came out a few weeks ago is the same Kindle Colorsoft that we had before, but the non-signature edition model. It's basically a Kindle Paperwhite with a color screen. It doesn't have those extra bells and whistles that I mentioned earlier. Now, what I found very shady on Amazon's part though is when this new Kindle Colorsoft came out, the old one was no longer available in the search results. If you had the link to it, you can go back and buy it still, but if you were searching for a Colorsoft, only this new non-signature edition model was coming up. You could not find the previous version that was there. Now, obviously, Amazon wants to have a more positive experience with this new model of the Colorsoft. They want the other one to be kind of put away in the history books, and they want this new one to have more positive reviews. So I do understand the logic behind this strategy. At the same time, I do find it a bit strange that they intentionally hid the Kindle Colorsoft signature edition from search results, even though you could still buy it, just so that people wouldn't see the negative reviews and to get discouraged from buying the new version. As of today, in making this video, you can now search for both Kindle Colorsoft models. They're both available for sale, so they're no longer hiding anything from the public, and the new one does seem to be having a bit more of a positive review experience so far. There's some mixed ones in there as well, but overall it seems like they're doing a good job. What I also find very interesting is on the new Kindle Colorsoft page, they have a whole section over here that talks about the shortcomings, acknowledging how the Kindle Colorsoft may not be the best choice for people who may prefer a black and white Kindle. That is something I think they learned from the previous release. If you are interested in buying a Kindle with a color screen, check out my Colorsoft review. It has all the details you need to know. I do comparisons and dive deep into all the technicalities. Link for that on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.